She lost her parents. I adopted her. What she said to me later broke my heart. Reddit true story. It's been a year since I became the guardian and eventually adoptive father of my friend's daughter, who's 10. I know, unusual. I have known her almost her whole life, and she's always been a great kid, so chipper and happy. I remember when I was helping my friend remodel part of his house. She was 8 at the time, always looking to help, and either I or he would give her small jobs like measuring stuff or marking measurement lines for something we had to cut. Made her feel important, and I even gave her my hat when we finally finished the job as a thank you. But the happiness wouldn't last. She lost both of her parents last year in a car accident. She was at home with a babysitter, thankfully, and at the hospital, the only family member who came was her grandparents. No one else. Not an aunt, uncle, cousin, no one. She had no one to take care of her except her grandparents, but they had health problems of their own that would have made taking care of her extremely difficult. That night in the hospital was the first time she ever hugged and held on to me. As soon as I came into the room and I told her, "I know, sweetie, I'm here." And so, after deliberation with social services and the family, I was the only real person capable of taking care of her. An outsider, a stranger, most people would think. But after social services cleared me and my place was fit for care and habitation, she moved in with me. I made it clear to her from day one that I wasn't trying to be her dad or her mom. I never could be. I was simply a caretaker and someone who cared about her and wanted her to be safe and happy, that's all. She had a breakdown that night and fell asleep in my arms from the exhaustion of the whole situation, and I carried her to bed. I then went to my boss later that week and told him the situation and how I didn't want the promotion I knew I was soon to get because that would require me to travel more, and that just wasn't an option now because I had different priorities. She slowly came around to me and knew I was someone she could trust, but other family members on my side found the situation a bit odd. A single man taking care of some girl that isn't even his? What's up with that? Is the general vibe I got from my family, and some more condescending or "you're not the right person" messages, dead serious? They didn't like it. So I said fuck it and cut communication with most of them, the only people left being my brother, sister, and my parents who she's all met and loves, BTW. And as of October 2020, I officially adopted her as my own. We had a long discussion about it beforehand, and I made it clear that just because I was legally her dad, she didn't have to call me that, and she didn't want to. But she did want to stay with me, and that was fine by me. The day in the courtroom when it was all finalized was a little bittersweet, for obvious reasons. But I kept her promise, and we visited her where her parents are buried just to say hi. Even I got a little emotional, trying to just say some kind words, and she held my hand to calm me down a little. I would say we're doing pretty good now. She likes it when I talk about her dad and me growing up together, and I even gave her some old photos of us when we were teenagers. I also told her about my time in the military. Her dad was Air Force, and I was in the Army as what is now called a 91F, Small Arms Artillery Repairer. I worked for and reported to a quartermaster on base, and we tested and repaired weapons ranging from pistols to assault rifles to even huge cannons and weapons that went on AC-130 airplanes. Trust me, it wasn't always that exciting, haha. But I liked it and was considering getting an engineering degree in college, but instead opted for a major in IT and a minor in business. One of my fondest memories of me thus far would be from last year, about a month before she was adopted. I was on a Zoom meeting with other project managers, which is what I still am, from my company, including my boss, and turned my camera and mic off when I went to the bathroom. I come out and she's sitting in my chair talking up a storm to everybody, asking what they're all talking about and what they're doing, and it's just the cutest thing. No shyness whatsoever. She's always been like that with people, and is probably why she has so many friends. It wasn't easy making her leave, and she still occasionally hovers in the background, curiously trying to listen in on my conversations, even on the phone when I'm doing work. Sorry if this dragged on. I was just looking to get this out there and hopefully brighten up someone's day. I haven't yet crossed that line and told her I love her like she's my niece or daughter, but she knows how much I care about her and never hesitates to tell me if something's wrong. It's been rather hectic at times also, like when she accidentally caused a small grease fire. Don't worry, I was there the whole time, and she didn't get hurt at all and we laughed about it. And blackened one of my mom's pans, but I can't stay mad at her, not for a second. I'll close this by just saying that I'll always be there for her, no matter what it is, and that she's the most important thing in my life to me now. If you got this far, Thanks for reading, and I hope your day is a little brighter. Edit 1. Thank you all sincerely for your kind words of appreciation and praise, and all the awards, whatever they do, LOL. This means a lot to me. I should clarify something, though. I do love her. I do. But she's not mine. Not by blood, anyways. I'm not her father, and never will be. I know I said I told her that I wasn't trying to replace either of her parents, and I'm not. I'm just afraid that I'll say the wrong thing. That if I do say I love her, she'll say something like, "Why would you say that? You're not my dad," and our relationship will kind of taper off. I don't want that at all. I know her just as well as her parents did, but I can't judge what her reaction will be, or when the best time to say it is. It's a mistake I can't afford to make, but it's eating me up inside, not getting it out. Edit 2. Again, thank you all for your continuous support. I just wanted to say that, after seeing what the majority of you thought I should do, I think I'll finally do it and tell her I love her, hopefully sometime today. I stayed up all night thinking about what I might say, and I think I have something in my head prepared, but I'll just be honest. Wish me luck. I told my adopted daughter I love her for the first time. Today I made a post that got rather popular where I talk about how I came to be the guardian and eventually adoptive father of my friend's daughter after he and his wife passed away last year. And after the many suggestions that seemed to be in the majority, I decided I would finally say it to her. I stayed up half the night last night, thinking about what I would say and how I would say it before I was too exhausted and fell asleep. I just simply decided to talk to her about it sometime tonight. Straight, clear, and honest. That's just who I am. So I waited until after we finished eating dinner, and I even made her favorite meal for her, baked mac and cheese. I took care of the dishes and then called her back into the living room, and she sat next to me on the couch. Immediately she could tell by the nervous look on my face that something was up, but I reassured her that everything was fine. My foot was tapping like mad at this point, and I'd probably end up in the apartment below if I kept going. But I started the conversation by saying how much I care about her, and recalled the conversation we had when she first moved in with me about how I wasn't trying to replace her parents. "I'm just someone who cares about you as much as they did, sweetie." And she understood. And this is when my heart was ready to burst out of my chest, that I finally got out, "I love you more than anything in this world. You're the best thing to ever happen to me," and more. I was just about to keep going until she interrupted me and said simply, "I know," 3-second pause, "I love you too." I honestly didn't even know what to do at this point, and found myself almost in tears, my lip quivering when she said, "Are you crying?" and laughing a little before I just reached out and we wrapped our arms around each other. This hug was different too, lasting for almost a whole 10 seconds, neither of us saying a word, and the silence was almost deafening, but I knew she was smiling as big as I was. I eventually wiped my eyes and collected myself, holding her hands, and kindly explained to her, "You don't have to call me Dad, I mean it, only if you want to, but that's what I am. As long as we're together, I'll always be your dad." And I explained to her the differences between the two, and between a mom and mother for good measure. And again, she said, "Yeah, I knew that." She's a lot smarter than I sometimes give her credit for. I didn't press on it anymore after that and asked if there was anything she wanted to talk about. All she asked was how long I've loved her for. And I honestly just said, "I don't know, I just do," kind of feeling dumb for not being able to have a straight answer. I then asked her how long she loved me, and she also couldn't give a straight answer, but she did say that, "You were the only one who came besides my grandma and grandpa. You and your brother, who was living with me at the time, were the only ones." And that broke my heart, even just hearing the sorrow in her voice. She sat in my lap all night that night, crying, and it was extremely hard for me to hand her over to her grandparents. We spent the next 10 or so minutes just talking about my workday today, and I jokingly apologized for not being able to have breakfast with her because of work, made a separate post about that, and she didn't mind. Then I helped her with her homework, and we watched TV together until her bedtime. I was finishing up some work, and she came into my room before she went to bed. I turned around in my chair, said, "Good night, baby," and kissed her on the head before telling her I love her again. And I got my second, "I love you too." So that's how my evening's been. Like I said, I just wanted to be honest and direct with her. I always have been. That and compassionate and loving. It finally feels like the weight of the world has been lifted. Maybe one day she'll call me Dad, but I'm not in any hurry. She's a tough kid, no doubt, and I think she'll be okay. But we all need someone in our corner for us, even if it's just one person. And that's what I'll continue to do as long as I possibly can. Thank you very much for listening or watching. It helps to support this channel either way. We greatly appreciate it. Please like and subscribe to further support and not miss another story. Until next time, have a great day or night.